James Tushman with Ag Tire Talk here. I'm with Arthur Santos. He's responsible for the Momentum planter. I'm really thrilled to be out here today. Last year was exciting because I saw the CTIS system on this Momentum planter, but this year we've got two new big things. What are we talking about? Speed and weight, I believe. Is that correct?
Speed and weight sensing. The idea is to always build up on technology. And when we're talking about compaction, tire technology goes hand in hand.
Amen.
So when we have the ability to sense what the speed that the planter is doing, and feed that information not only to the planting technology, but also to the tire inflation and to the weight transfer, all the algorithms, and I'm not trying to talk fancy here, but that's it. The algorithm that controls the tire inflation and controls the weight transfer utilizes the speed sensing, and most important, the weight sensing.
So those are two big things. So number one, speed sensing. The great thing about that is as you increase speed, what do you need to do? You need to increase that inflation pressure, right? We want to keep that rolling resistance down, right? We want to reduce those fuel costs, but in the field, what do we want to do?
We need to deflate the tire to minimize compaction, so it's a balance.
We need to deflate that tire so we can elongate that footprint, really get the snowshoe effect going on and reduce that sole compaction. So I wanted to talk about the speed thing, but I also want to talk about the weight sensing. This is a really big deal here. So correct me if I'm wrong, this particular planter, when you start taking seeds out of really the container there, it senses the weight and it can reduce the air pressure even further. Is that correct?
Correct. As we get massive weight in the center, the CFS, we deflate the tires as low as 15 psi. And what happens? The tire footprint will elongate, and when you have now twice as long footprint, you have the same weight distributed in more area. You're minimizing compaction. As you're planting through the field and your commodities are depleting, the planter is less heavy. What do? We start inflating the tires automatically.
Perfect.
Everything happens without the operator touching a button. And why do we do that? You don't need all that compaction management because you're less heavy, and we know that you're gonna go tender. So we are inflating the tires so you can be faster in transport, and by the time you get to the tender, you start putting all that weight again. What do we do automatically? We deflate the tires.
It's really an automated CTIS, so I'm going to leave you with one last technical piece, which is how do you do the weight sensing?
So there is a smart spindle. We call it a smart spindle, but it's basically a spindle inside the rims that it's a scale. And the most important thing is if we measure only in the center of the planter, like some planters have scales, and you're not capturing the entire dynamic.
And then it's different.
You need to measure the weight in the wings, in the center, and on the other wings. So we have 4 smart spindles throughout the planter, knowing exactly what the weight that you have in the center and in the wing. And not only we feed that information to the tire inflation, the same smart spindle that's measuring wings and center is also feeding the information to the weight transfer system.
Awesome. Check it out, the Fendt Momentum planter, clearly on the cutting edge of tire technology when it comes to managing inflation pressure. And really, what does that equate to? Why does that mean something to the producer? It gets down to better yields and reduced inputs and reduced fuel. Thank you very much, Arthur.
Thanks,
Pleasure
James.
as always.
Good to see you.